Hello, happy Wednesday, everyone. How are we doing today? How's your week going? I'm here again. This is day 3 of my 7-day video challenge that I'm doing this week. If you haven't had a chance to go back and watch the previous videos from this week, basically I joined a new coaching program, and one of my first assignments was to come on every day for 7 days and answer a variety of different prompts that are given to me by my coach. So day 1 was, who am I? So I talked a little bit about like who I am. Yesterday was, what's the single greatest lesson that your parents have taught you? So I talked a little bit about that. That was a pretty short one. And then today for day 3, the prompt is, what do I do for a living and why do I do it? And I'm glad that I didn't go too in depth about this subject on Monday in my first call about who I am, because then I would just be repeating all of that again. So I actually have a lot to say about this, and it's a really interesting story. And I think a lot of people actually wonder what I do, because I know you guys see on my stories me, talking about being in meetings and going on work trips. And so I think probably there's some confusion about like, what is it that I do? Like, what do I do for a living? So I'm going to give a little bit of a background, some context to the story. So about 35 years ago, my dad started his own business. My dad's always been an entrepreneur at heart. So when he was young, my grandma tells stories about how he would like go door to door and try to figure out like something that he could make to sell to the person, or going around cutting people's grass in their yard. He always had a variety of different like things that he wanted to do, like to start his own business, even when he was really young. And when he was in high school, he actually started a record store in his high school. And so he would go and like shop and find records and stuff, and then keep like this library inside his school that he would then, rent out to kids who wanted to rent records. So he's always just been very an entrepreneur in heart and spirit. And so when he was about, 22 years old, he started his own business, and his business is a fitness music business. And so what that means, because that kind of like confuses people a little bit. So fitness music is whenever you go to the gym and you do a cycle class or a barbell class or any kind of like coordinated group fitness class, most likely you've heard the music of his company. So it's a company called Power Music, and that's the company that I work at. And what it is we take popular songs and old songs just from across the whole history of music, and we re-record them. So we redo the vocals, and then we redo the music, and then we put it at a faster tempo so that you can work out to it. So it started out for group fitness, but we've branched out, and now we do what's called consumer fitness as well. So consumer means you as a regular person going out and going for a run, going on the Stairmaster, elliptical, spinning on your own spin bike, that kind of thing. So we actually now also do music for consumer as well. And you can find consumer releases on Spotify, on Apple Music, on iTunes, Amazon Music. We're everywhere. My dad's company was the very first company to do this. So there's been a lot of competitors that have come out since then and kind of copied his model and tried to do what he's doing. But he was the very first person to do it. He's been on the news. He's been featured in the New York Times. It was a very revolutionary idea back when he started this. And so growing up, so he started his business pretty much at the same time that I was born. So I like to say when I tell people the story, like my dad had 2 kids at once, basically. And he was kind of faced with the decision of which one is going to get his time and his energy. And because he's just such a driven person, and like I said, an entrepreneur at heart, he definitely put a lot more effort and time and focus into his business rather than like a child, which would be me. So growing up, I always remember going to trade shows. I always remember going to different events. I remember I've worked in every office that he's ever had all over the country, because he's been on the East Coast. He had his business there, and then he's also had it here in the West, in Utah. And so growing up, I've worked every possible job. I've done the front desk. I've done the warehouse, done shipping. I've done customer service. I've done marketing. I've done everything. At some point or another, I have done a different job. So I always thought it was really cool. Like I didn't have any friends that like I knew where their parents owned a business that they got to work in growing up. So I got to learn a lot about accounting and, like I said, all the different tasks that I've done over the years. So I felt really fortunate to have that as an example growing up, and I loved working there. I loved the business. I loved. I also have another part of this story is that music is a big part of my family. So the Petty family, gosh, I have so many different members of my family who are like recording artists who travel the world and play music and perform. They have albums out. They teach music. They just do it for fun. They're musically talented. Like, it's insane when we get together at like a family gathering, just like everybody singing, playing music. It's like perfectly on pitch, in harmony. It's like the Partridge Family. It's unreal. So another part of this was like, I loved, so I grew up very musical and like musically inclined and loved music. So I loved that I was able to, like, it was so fun to me, to go into recording studios and to, I've met different artists over the years. And anyways, so having that kind of in the music industry, I always thought was really cool. But then also it combines my other love, which I talked about on Monday, of fitness. And so I kind of just had this like perfect blend of two things I was really passionate about. And, so growing up, like I said, whenever I would visit my dad, I always would like work in his different offices and do all these different jobs. And so it kind of just was like told to me in so many words that like eventually this would be mine. Like, this will be my company. I don't need to go to college. Like, I don't need, like, my path has been set forward for me. This is what it's going to be. And it was going to be that I was going to take over the business. And so I never really like thought about doing anything else. Like, I never had a backup plan. I never had anything else that I pursued. I mean, I had things I was interested in that I was like, oh, that would be fun to do. But in the back of my mind, I was like, no, this is what I'm doing. Like, I have this path already set out for me. So, let's see. So in my early 20s, long story short, there was some stuff went down in the business, and my dad had to give up most of his ownership to another partner. So he brought in a partner, and basically at the time, a lot of stuff fell through, and it was also at like the height of my drinking and drug addiction. So I just handled the situation really poorly. I ended up quitting and leaving. And then just went on total self-destruction mode, didn't care about anything. I basically, to me, and looking back now, of course, hindsight 2020 is what it is. Now I see that I just didn't have the coping skills that I needed to be able to handle what felt like such a disruption in my life. But I also didn't have anybody there to tell me, like, to help me through it, right? So I was just literally thrown out into my own thought that my entire life was over. I had no future. I had never gone to college. I didn't have a backup plan. And so I was terrified, and I just chose to go all in on drinking and drugs and didn't really care about anything else. So fast forward a little bit, eventually the opportunity came back up for me to do some work for them, kind of like as a contractor basis. And so it was just like kind of smaller tasks that no one else had ever done before except for me. So they were finding it challenging to find someone who could do them, because it would just be so much easier to pay me to do it than to like try to like hire someone and train them how to do it, because it's a very unique job. Like, it is a very unique skill set that you need. And because I've done it for so long, I just fit so well in it. And so eventually I did have the opportunity to start doing contract work, and long story really short, 10 years later, I, up until a couple of months ago, had still been doing contract work. So it's just been like a job that I've always had, that I always could come back to, and I've kind of come in and out a few times over the years. I definitely no longer felt like that charge that I felt back in my 20s when everything with the business, went sideways, and I've been able to completely detach my expectation for my life from the success of the business, and know that I am my own person and I can do my own thing. And at any point I can walk away and I could do something else. So I'm definitely in a much healthier spot with the company now. But so I've been doing contract work, and there's been lots of things that have transpired in between then that I'm not going to bore you with all the details. But so I've been a contract worker. Well, back in August, which I've hinted about this a couple times, but back in August, it was really, I guess, a pivotal point for me in my now adult life. I have 2 kids. I'm trying to buy a house. There's just things in my life that I want. I want financial security. I didn't have anyone to model like financial literacy or like any kind of wealth knowledge in my life. I grew up with parents that did not handle money well, that it was kind of like, it's always been wrong to talk about money. You don't talk about money. It's taboo. No one ever taught me how to save money or like talking about debt, and none of it. I got none of it. And so I've had to spend the last few years really rewriting a lot of those stories about my understanding of debt. Like I got my first credit card at 18. It came in the mail and I remember asking, it was like right as I was leaving to move out. And I remember asking my mom, like, oh, this company just like sent me a credit card. Like, what do I do? And she's like, I guess you can just use it. Like, didn't explain to me the consequences of what I would be doing. Didn't tell, like, I was just so confused. I'm like, I didn't apply for this. They just sent it to me. And she was like, I guess you should just use it. Well, I've basically had a like balance of 10K credit card debt for like 15 years now, just because I like rack it up and then I pay it off and then I rack it up and then I pay it off. And it's been this vicious cycle that I've not been able to break, that I'm working on breaking now. So just to give you a little bit of background on like, I haven't had the financial literacy that I have now. It's only been in the last few years that I've really been trying to work on my understanding of what money is, what it means, the energy of money, that it's not bad to talk about money. It's not bad to ask for more money, to ask to be paid what you're worth, to make good money. Also because I want more money. I want to make more money so that I can do good things in the world, right? Like I'm not trying to buy like a boat or a plane. It's like, I want a nice house I can raise my children in. I want to be able to give back. I want to be generous. I want to help my friends and my family. So there's also just a mindset thing there too. It's like money is not evil. And I've always been taught that if you want money, if you like money, if you talk about money, like it's wrong or it's bad. So I've been really trying to like rewrite a lot of those stories. So anyways, back in August, I had been a contract worker, like I said, for years and years and years. And I just decided that it was time. Like I either needed to go all in and become a full-time employee and get paid what I'm worth, or I was going to need to walk away. And so over the course of the past year, my dad actually decided to completely step away. And I just now work pretty much one-on-one with the CEO of the company. And because of the past and everything I just talked about, we had like a really rough working relationship that has actually been amazing. Like this past year, there was just a lot of things like we basically had like a really honest and raw conversation. I think it was about a year ago, where I was just like, hey, like you met me when I was 18. I'm not 18 anymore. I feel like you still look at me like I'm 18. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done a lot of dumb stuff, but that's not who I am anymore. And I really want just like a fresh start with you. And I want to prove to you that I do deserve this job and that I do a really good job. And we've had this just amazing working relationship. So over the course of the last couple months leading up to August, I've been in more executive meetings. I've been pulled into bigger conversations. I've been asked what my opinion is and asked to make decisions and to take on projects that are bigger than, what I perceive myself to be. And so I kind of was getting the feeling that like I already was kind of being brought into the circle to be bigger, to do more with the company. So in August, I just had a really honest conversation that was really hard for me to have, where I just said, I know what I'm worth and I love this job and I don't want to go anywhere, but I need to be compensated what fair market value is. I want to be a full-time employee with benefits and a 401k. I have 2 children I need to provide for. I'm trying to buy a house. Like I just was really open and honest about everything. Well, it took a couple months of just like talking about it and going back and forth. And then as of a month ago, I became officially a full-time employee. So a full-time employee with benefits. I already was a full-time employee. I was just a contract worker, but now I'm all in 100%. And so that, to give you a little bit of that's the background story, but to actually answer what it is that I do, my official title is marketing director for the company. So I do all of our email campaigns, all of our social media campaigns. I create all of our social media posts, reels. So the reels you guys see on my profile here, I do those for a variety of our different, because we have different verticals. That means we have different parts of the business. So the fitness part that I just talked about is just one aspect. We do music for cheerleading. We do music for licensing for like film and movie. So we have a bunch of different verticals. And so I do do reels for all of those businesses, parts of the business as well. I also am really involved in like the strategizing of different features to add. We have an app, so adding features to the app and all that kind of stuff. So technically my title is marketing director, but I do a lot of other stuff. I oversee all of our customer service. I do, a lot of like our content uploading. So like I mentioned, our music's on Spotify and Apple Music and iTunes. I'm actually the one that helps process that music. So creates the spreadsheets, uploads the files, gets the covers together, all that kind of fun stuff. So there's a lot of different things that I do. I won't bore you guys with those details, but that's my official title. So I work for, Power Music, and that's my job. And why do I do it? Well, I'm sure you've gathered a little bit in this explanation from this video, but I do it for a couple different reasons. It does feel to me very special. It would be really hard for me to walk away if it ever does come the time for me to walk away. That will be really challenging because it basically has been a company that's been in my life for my entire life. And in some ways, it's all I've known. I mean, I've definitely had other jobs in between, in this lifetime, but it's something that I've always come back to. Definitely be challenging to walk away from. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy my job. I get to work with amazing group fitness instructors and people from all over the world every day. I get to help them grow their fitness businesses. I get to work with music every day. I get to listen to cool music. I get to listen to remixes. I get free workout DVDs and programs. I get free workout music. It's just really fun. It's a really fun and awesome opportunity. And also it just feels like as long as I'm there, there's still, and I have other family members that work for the company as well. My aunt and uncle work there. My siblings have done like little contract work stints there, here and there. So it definitely feels like while I'm still in a big way, that it still will stay in the family in some way. And who's to say, like, who knows what's going to happen over the next few years, It'll be really interesting to see how the company grows and what else I'm able to contribute and how else I'm also able to grow professionally. So that's why I do it. I do it because I love it. I love the stability. I'm going back to the money mindset thing we were talking about. I'm really in this mode of wanting to have multiple streams of income. I don't believe it's a good idea to put all of your eggs in one basket. So I'm, into investing, and have this coaching business here on this platform, my personal platform, and I have my full-time job, and I'm always just keeping my ears open for opportunities and new things to offer. I've mentioned I'm going to be doing here on this platform some courses, some programs, some group coaching opportunities. So I'm really just looking for ways to like diversify so that, God forbid, if anything were to happen with my job, I'll know that I still have money coming in. I can still, provide for my kids and everything like that. So so I do it because I love it. And I'm really glad I got to share this with you guys today. And hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight into who I am and what I'm about and what I do. And if you have any questions about this, you want to know more about this job, or anything, if you need any marketing help, because that is literally what I do, let me know, because I love just doing it. I love helping people strategize, come up with their niche, come up with their target audience, help people with their reels, because I know reels are like so confusing to some people, and I love creating them for myself and my company. So anyways, I'm happy to chat about any of this, and I just appreciate all of you guys for tuning in for day 3 of my video challenge. I will be back tomorrow for day 4. I hope you're having a beautiful Wednesday. Go do something nice for yourself today, because you deserve it. And I love you so much. Mwah! I'll see you later.